Hi, I'm the List Girl, and this is bucket list goal number 777 to write 100 lists. This is list number 21 of 100, and it's all about why veganism is a good idea if you have irritable bowel syndrome. I have had IBS since I was about 12 or 14. I'm now 25, so like the age when I was diagnosed is kind of blurry, but I started to really be silly with the things that I would consume and not really worry about my health or the consequences of the things that I was consuming and how it would affect my health. But I started drinking 400 milliliters of caffeine every day. With the amount of energy drinks that I was drinking back then, it really started to affect my digestive system, and it started to wear it down to the point where I feel like I gave myself irritable bowel syndrome. It is very possible that my IBS was also a part of my Asperger's syndrome, or came with my Asperger's syndrome, and then it was kind of like triggered and made worse through my excessive energy drinking. One thing that I have learnt, however, despite everything else being kind of blurry, is that IBS is for sure something that comes, or that is caused by your lifestyle choices and your diet choices. About 5 or 6 years ago, I started to make even worse lifestyle and diet choices, which caused my IBS to just go off the rails, and I was in constant pain. And that was not only the caffeine that I was having, but I added cigarettes to the equation, and also not meaning to, and like with no fault of my own, I ended up becoming anorexic. Those three things, basically the worst things someone with irritable bowel syndrome can do. In those 5 or 6 years where I was having caffeine and cigarettes, like my body was going through some stuff. The pain started to get unbearable. It was like, it wasn't just like a bout anymore, it was literally just an everyday occurrence. My mom explained to me that if you really want to take care of your stomach and help yourself rather than destroy yourself, then I read online that a lot of people with irritable bowel syndrome help themselves by becoming vegan. And so I looked more into it myself, and that process of then becoming vegan myself also helped me with my IBS. Number 1, fiber versus constipation predominant IBS. The normal Mediterranean diet can at most times not provide us with enough fiber. The minimum recommended daily amount is 24 grams. The Mediterranean diet sometimes doesn't even reach minimum, which can obviously cause issues. Everyone these days is so obsessed with your protein intake, when if you were to look around you and look at people's diets and the amount of fiber people eat, there is no such thing as protein deficiency. But I've noticed since becoming a vegan that there is a wide scale of fiber deficiencies, and it is in fact part of the causation of several diseases. It is very much a causation for irritable bowel syndrome. And if you don't believe me, then just ask yourself, how many times do you, and this might be a TMI, but how many times do you go to the toilet? Because from the research that I have done, we are supposed to go at least once every single day, at least. If you go more than that, that's great. In saying that, there's obviously pooping too much, but let's not get into that. And if that isn't something that's happening with you, then you're clearly fiber deficient, which is something that people nowadays don't think about, which can be very easily fixed with a vegan diet, as the majority, scratch that, as all vegan foods have fiber in them. Meat, dairy and eggs have 0 fiber in them, and if that is the majority of the food that you are eating, you are not even reaching your minimum daily amount. However, fruits, vegetable, grains, starches, beans, legumes, all those things that plant-based people eat are packed full of fiber. If you have IBS and you have constipation issues especially, then I would definitely suggest start to eat more of those plant-based foods in order to uptake your intake of fiber in order to help things flow. Number 2, veganism allows and supports time and the perfect environment to help your stomach heal. One of the many benefits of a vegan diet is the fact that the food that we eat gets digested a lot faster than meats, dairies and eggs. Not to mention the fact that those foods tend to be harsher on the digestive system. in comparison to fruits and vegetables. They also end up taking longer to pass through your body, which can also cause issues. But the fact that eating more fruits and vegetables and avoiding meat and dairy speeds up the digestive process, which means that you have time for your body to just stop digesting and having that time to heal before your next meal, rather than eating a meal and it's digesting, and then as soon as you digested you have another meal. Your body just doesn't have that break that it needs to heal. Whereas when you're vegan, because the food digests so much faster, you then have that gap between each meal to allow your body to heal. Not only that, but because vegan foods are so rich in good bacteria and fiber, which is really good for your stomach, the organisms that live in your stomach, it also causes a healthier environment that will aid and support your digestive system to heal. Number 3, antioxidants versus inflammation. With eating more fruits and vegetables, you are intaking a lot more antioxidants. There is hardly any antioxidants in chicken, beef, pork. There isn't as many antioxidants, if any. In eggs and dairy, there are no antioxidants. But in fruits, vegetables, starches, legumes, all that good stuff, those foods are packed with antioxidants, and antioxidants are perfect for inflammation. Antioxidants help decrease inflammation in your body, but they also prevent inflammation in your body. And inflammation is the process in your body that causes pain. IBS is literally just a flare-up inflammation in your digestive system. So if you're inputting a lot of antioxidants into your body, you are preventing the inflammation that occurs in your stomach, which means that your bowels will be irritated a lot less, and also means that when you do have a bout of IBS, it doesn't last as long. Number 4, less triggers equals less pain. With IBS, there can be several triggers to your irritable bowel syndrome, but the one that the majority, if not all people with IBS always seem to have in common is dairy. I am intolerant to dairy, and other people with IBS will no doubt be intolerant to dairy. That is because dairy milk was not made for us. Our bodies cannot handle it, and if you didn't know, like half of the population on this earth is in fact dairy intolerable. Therefore, being vegan, you naturally just avoid some of the biggest triggers. And finally, number 5, exercise fuels pain relief. Since becoming vegan, I have found that not only do I have a lot more energy, but it has also increased my stamina and my endurance, which means that I now have more energy and ability to exercise more and more frequently, and that causes me less pain. Sometimes IBS can also be triggered by a lack of just movement, to be honest. If you're staying stagnant for a long time, that can also trigger your bowels to become irritated, because our bodies were made to move around, and if we're not doing that, that can upset not just your digestive system, but a lot of parts of your body. But with people with IBS, if you're not moving, you're probably going to trigger your irritable bowels to become irritable. Now, saying all this is really good knowledge and all, but a lot of people always tend to feel like veganism is too complicated. They come up with reasons like, oh, it's too expensive, or I don't have time, or I don't know, it takes cooking skill that I don't have. All these excuses. But what I find is, when somebody is in pain, truly in pain, there should be no reason to stop you from doing something to take care of that and to prevent yourself from living a life of pain. And considering all the information that is out there nowadays concerning veganism, it makes it a lot easier to eat a plant-based diet. I'm not saying this because I'm a vegan and I feel like everyone should be vegan, but I have found that since becoming vegan, it has very much helped my irritable bowel syndrome, and I just wanted to recommend that to those who don't have the knowledge that I now have. I didn't have this knowledge either, but now I do, and I feel like it is part my responsibility to help others that don't have that knowledge either. You don't even have to become like a full vegan. You don't even have to become a full-time, long-term vegan. Just whether you do it for a short time or a long time, I can honestly say that eating a plant-based lifestyle will most definitely help you with your irritable bowel syndrome.